Is that question to me?
Dishita, if you can hear me. Dishita, can you please unmute yourself? We can't hear you.
Is that question to me or
No, not to you. Not to you. I'll come to you, Sanku.
Apologies. Sorry,
Yeah,
apologies.
go ahead, Dishita. Now
Thank
we
you
can
for
hear
having me. Firstly, the police have done their best to try and protect the victims here. I think both sides are affected, but what's happening on the ground that the Hindu diaspora is seeing, and what the pulse is, that the small radical Islamist groups are forcing Hindu communities to evacuate their homes. And that's fundamentally what's been happening. What happened 2 weeks ago with the India-Pakistan match was just a trigger. This has been going on for months on end. And if you ask anybody who's seen anything on the ground in the UK and Leicester, most of them will tell you the same thing. So I think there is a scare, of course, but the bigger thing is there's a land grabbing here.
Dishita, I want to interject you there. You're saying that this has been going on for a very long time. Can you elaborate? What exactly has been going on for a very long time?
So for more than 2 to 3 months, I've been hearing this, that Hindu homes are being attacked. You can clearly see when you go into this Muslim majority area, the homes that are knocked down are the ones that have a Hindu symbolism on it, some kind of an Om or a Ganesh Murti. Those doors are all knocked down. And these Hindu groups are being evacuated from their homes. And that's the biggest problem. The instigator was the cricket match, but that was just a little bit of a fire that ignited it. And now the Hindu community is trying to self-organize to protect ourselves. And that's what happened when people keep saying they were chanting Jai Shri Ram, was to kind of give strength and courage to the community that been basically being forced out of their homes, to give them courage. So I think the narrative that's been going around in the media is completely false. And what's happening on the ground is something very different. It's a purely small Islamist radical group that are forcing.
No, but then aren't you contradicting yourself? You said that the police have done their best, but still these radical groups are able to get away. How does that really add up?
So I think recently what's happened with obviously our queen, the incident, obviously the funeral. So I think majority of our police force was pushed into London, and they were short. They had to get more force from out of town, but the police wasn't expecting the magnitude of what's happened. So now slowly more police force has come into Leicester and getting into Birmingham since they are no longer required in London as much. So now it's getting under control, but I'm talking about what's been happening since the past week when they were evacuated. So
I want to go back to Lord Rami Ranger. You know, Lord Ranger, it's wonderful to adopt the tone and tenor of communal harmony. I think that's the larger message. That's welcome. But you can't deny that UK has had its own issues of multiculturalism, and they predate 2001. Radical Islam has been a huge issue that Dishita is talking about. How can the country really address these issues? You can't shove them under the carpet anymore.
But Islamic ideology, extremism has not been just confined to UK. There is a problem everywhere, because it depends how you use religion. You either use religion to divide humanity, or you use religion to unite humanity. That's what I appeal to the leaders, that we are now living in a global village. You have no choice who is your next door neighbor, but you do have a choice how you treat your neighbor. If you don't treat him well, he will not treat you well. A spiral of hatred will just multiply. So therefore, a responsibility lies with the religious leader. They have to now say, we are not living in those, 1500 years old time when world was a different place. But now we have no choice. We now have to live in harmony for the sake of our next generation and next generation after that, that they must not carry the hatred what we have been carrying since 1947.
Rashmi, I'm coming back to you. And when I was a student, there was a research that we did on the Rotherham child sexual exploitation scandal. It's a very different case, but in that entire matter, which was the documentation of abuse that went around, I think, for over a decade, it is documented in academics, in the papers, that the administration went slow against the perpetrators. And one of the reasons that the administration went slow against the perpetrators was because they belong to various ethnic minority groups within UK. And that has been cited as a very problematic aspect of multiculturalism. Is that the similar aspect which has led to the situation right now, where you have not addressed the problems which you're facing from different communities and fringe groups, and this situation has completely gone out of hand right now?
Well, the grooming gang problem that went on for a very long time in the UK, and the following investigation, it clearly shows that,
Yes.
you know, under the guise of political correctness, the authorities have gone mild. They have, you know, tried to keep certain things out of this thing, try to keep things slow so that, you know, they don't get called out for being politically incorrect or cancelled out there. So definitely there has been mollycoddling of certain minorities. I won't say all minorities.
Yes.
Today, if the same thing had happened in front of a mosque, or had it happened in front of a synagogue, the situation would have been completely different. The police would have immediately arrested these people, and, you know, if there were any further you know, notices out there for people to gather in front of more such religious places, they would have all been, like, you know, tracked down and arrested. But, you know, when it comes to the Hindu minority, there's a different treatment that can be seen.
Sanko, do you agree with Rashmi that because it's a temple, that is why the police has perhaps acted more proportionately? Had it been some other religious, you know, synagogue or some kind of a church or something else, the police would have acted far more sternly. This is an issue that they have refused to face so far. Do you buy that argument? Sanko, if you can hear me, that's the question for you. All right, I think he's not able to hear us. I'll go back to Dishita. Dishita,